Debbie! I hollered straight out into the street as loud as I could, in no particular direction. I waited for an answer. Shut the fuck up! A female voice answered. Didn't sound like Debbie. Two teen girls stood by a busted-open newspaper machine, drinking something distinctly beer-colored out of a Coke bottle. Too cute to be part of the scene. Aw, look, they did their mascara up all thick. Punk fucking rock. If you give me a cigarette, I might consider letting you suck my dick, I told the blonde one with the patches on her denim jacket. They laughed and said a bunch of words that weren't "here's a cigarette," so I left. I crossed the Bowery and headed up Bleecker to the old wrought iron fire escape where we hid emergency drinks from the parasites. And I found the parasites there. With the drinks. Parasites. The young kids who milled about outside the shows, too chicken or too broke to slip past the doorman. Occasionally they lucked into some weed or some smokes, and they were always eager to impress, so they were generally tolerated, like fleas or acne. But this was a step too far. They'd found the goddamn beer cache. They saw me coming and turned at once, like a bunch of prairie dogs spotting the shadow of a hawk. One of you has cigarettes for me, I told them, not asked. The little guy with the Elmer's glue spikes fumbled in his pockets like I'd told him there was a loose grenade in there. He practically threw a Camel at my face. I pulled my Zippo and did that Steve McQueen shit where I snapped it open and scraped the flint across my jeans to light it in one smooth motion. Ladies love it. Men fear it. Too bad I was out of fluid. Somebody laughed. You fucking parasites! I hollered, turning to round on them with all the righteous fury of a man cheated out of a beer stash. But Jezza was standing there instead, looking like an empty jacket draped over a chair. Easy, mate, you're scaring off all the lovelies. Light, Jezza. First he calls me a parasite, then he wants me lighter? Jezza mimed outrage to a plain-looking girl in glasses and a scuffed-up flannel shirt. God damn it, you sold our beer stash out for parasite ass. I will ruin your night right now unless you get me fire. Well, he's old piss and vinegar, isn't he? Jezza said to Scuffed Flannel. She laughed, utterly fucking charmed, I'm sure. Jezza, goddammit, you're not British. He's not British. I looked Scuffed Flannel in the eye, and the only English movie he's seen is Mary Poppins, which is why he talks like such a prick. Oi! Jezza protested. Jezza, God love you, man, but you sound like a fucking cartoon penguin. Knock it off. Your mom's from Illinois. I turned back to Scuffed Flannel and said, His name's Jeremy. You asshole, Carey. Why do you always gotta blow it for me? Jezza whined. The girls love the accent. Girls? Jesus, man, you're making things complicated. I looked and saw Debbie's flashy tinfoil-colored hair across the street, just coming out the door. Here, I said, stealing the beer can from Jezza's hand. This is how you do it. Hey, Debbie! She turned, looking for the source of the voice, but it was too dark and there were too many people. Debbie, do you want to screw later? I hollered. Are you any good? She yelled back, still not spotting me. You've had worse. All right, then. She answered, laughing, and turned back to talk to her friends. Jezza looked like somebody had pooped in his cornflakes. Told you I'd ruin your night. A man asks for a lighter, you give him a goddamned lighter, I said, and jogged back across the Bowery up behind Debbie. I grabbed her hips and she squeaked. Got a light for your friendly neighborhood sex god? I whispered into her hair, which, like everything else coming out of the club, smelled like an old undershirt. Oh, hell, that was you, Carey? I thought you said I'd had worse. She had that sass in her voice that said she'd found something stronger than beer. Debbie handed over the lighter, and I flicked it on. I wrapped my hand around it, shielding the precious flame, then put it in my pocket when she glanced away. All's fair in love and lighters.